Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. Don't drop money, teaching strategy for enhancing vocabulary acquisition. First of all, let me introduce our teams. We are from Guru Thanh, and there are three members in our team. Teacher Leah is me, next Teacher Julie, and Teacher Hannah. We are so happy to share a new activities about vocabulary section today. Right, let's go. Let's me introduce a little bit about our line. Number one, we have three main parts here. Number one is all about don't drop money. Number two, detailed procedure, and the last part that is adaptation and variation. First, all about don't drop money. We have language skill focus. Next, that is level match and materials required. And next, that is time allotted. About language skill focus, vocabulary acquisition and retention, encourage recycling and application of vocabulary related to a specific topic. Next, level match for upper beginner and above. Materials required because this game is about money, so we need some pieces of paper to make banknotes. Next is scissors, and the last one, some websites or apps or tools to make a slideshow. And about time allotted, we need 5 minutes to create banknotes, and so around like 15 to 20 minutes to make slideshow. The next step, that is preparation. Number one, gather materials. As I tell you before, we need scissors and paper, but some branches we have plastic sheet or lamination. It's okay. It's support for you to do these activities. Number two, how to create banknotes. And you can use tools like Word or PowerPoint to design banknotes. But if you don't have time, you can use cards like on the slide and print it out. Use scissors to cut into separate ones. And you can use a laminator to make banknotes look more realistic, so students are more excited, and you can reuse them in the future. And number three, design slideshows. You can use tools like PowerPoint or Canva to design slideshow. As you can see on the screen, I have the slide from number 1 to number 9. This one has questions inside. The number of the questions depends on the number of teams teacher divides in the class. The number of the questions needs to be divisible by the number of teams to ensure teams have equal turns. All right, that's all about don't drop money. And we move to step 2, that is details procedure. Let's welcome teacher Hannah.
Thank you, Teacher Leah, for introducing me. And I'm Hannah. I will give you more detailed information about the detailed procedure of our activity, Don't Drop Money. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's take a look at the screen. There are 5 main steps in our procedure. The first one, number one, we will introduce the topic and teach unfamiliar words and expressions. The step number 2, teacher will form groups and review the vocabulary. Number 3, introduce the rules to the class. And number 4, and the step number 4, demonstrate how to play. And the step number 5, the last one, recycle and review vocabulary. Now, let's take a look at the step number 1. Introduce the topic and teach unfamiliar words and expressions. In this step, I have divided it into 3 smaller steps, so that is easier for students to follow. The first one, the teacher will activate the prior knowledge from the students. I mean that the teacher will let the student brainstorm the words that related to the given topic. And I have a suggested activity for teachers in this step that is called memory game. The teacher will let the students sit in a horizontal row, and the student number one, he's going to say a word that is related to the topic. For example, the student say the word A, and then next move to the student number two. The student two has to remember the word A from student number one, and then think of a word B by himself. And then the student number two say A and B. Next, move to the student number three. He has to remember the word A, B from two previous students, and then think of a word C by himself. So number three has to say A, B, and C, and the teacher will keep going until the last student of the class. Next, the smaller step number two is to pre-teach new words or expression. The teacher will show some photos of the target vocabulary and then guide students to describe or give more information about the photos, so that to make sure the student understand how they relate to the overall theme and make students more engaged into the lesson. Next one, the last steps is to ask the students some questions related to the topic. By this one, I mean, for example, the main topic the students is going to learn is the function of the machine, and the teacher can use the vocabulary that you have introduced to the student to ask some questions like, what machines do your families have, or what is the machine you use the most? So, and then the last one, lead in the topic, the main topic, the functions of the machine. Next, the step number two in our procedure is to form groups and review the vocabulary. With this one, I also have a activity for you to review the vocab from the student, that is writing race. The teacher is going to place learners in groups of 3 to 4, and it depends on the class size. Next, the teams will line up in vertical rows in front of the board, and teacher has to number the students. The student number one is the one who stands next to the whiteboard, right next to the whiteboard, and next one is student number 2, 3, and 4. And teacher will show the pictures or the word to the last student of the line, and then that student whispers to the student right in front. That student continue whispering to the student number one, and student number one has to write the word on the whiteboard as fast as possible. The team gets the correct answer, and is the fastest team will get 1 point for that one. And the teacher will keep going until we can find the winner who gets the most correct answers. Next, the step number 3, the rules of our game. Don't drop money. You need to introduce the rules to the class. The first one, the teacher will give the teams an equal amount of money with banknotes of different denominations. For example, each team gets $5,000. Make sure that all teams get the same amount of money. Next, the team will take turns choosing the questions. For example, let's take a look at here. I have 9 questions from 1 to 9. Each team will take turn to choose one question randomly, any number, any question that they want to choose. Next, the important one. The teams will bet a certain amount of money before seeing the questions. For example, they choose the question number 1, and before seeing the question, they need to decide how much money they want to bet. For example, they want to bet $100. So they need to say, we bet $100 before knowing what the question number 1 is. Next one. If the team can give the correct answer for the question, so the teacher will give that team an additional amount of money that is equivalent to the amount that the team have bet. For example, the question is unscrambling the word washing machine. If the team gets the correct answer, washing machine, the teacher will give that team $100 more. But if the answer is not correct, of course, the team will lose the bet amount, and other team have the right to answer the question. So If the team who taking chance to answer the question give the correct answer, the teams will be given a certain amount of money by the teacher, and this amount of money depends on your teacher. And of course, if the answer is not correct, teacher also will take some money, a certain amount of money from that team. Okay, now next, to make the game more competitive and the student will be more interested in the game and has the chance to get more money, there are three special options for the students. The first one, the student can double points. It means the student can double the bet amount if the answer is correct. And remember, the student have to use this option before seeing the question, before they know the questions. Next one, do a challenge. The student can do a challenge instead of answering the questions. If the question is too difficult for them to answer, they don't know what the answer is, okay, they can do a challenge and given by the teachers. And the last one, they can use hints. Teacher will give the teams two hints so that the teacher can guess the answer if the question is quite difficult for them. Okay, and there are some notes for teachers when conducting this activity. The first one, to save time, teachers should limit the amount of time that teams discuss together to decide the amount of money that they want to bet, or they choose the options. Next one, the amount of time when they answer the questions, maybe around 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 20 seconds. This one depends on the student's ability. Next one, the maximum bet amount will not exceed the amount of money that a team has. If a team has only $2,000, they can bet only $2,000 is maximum, not 3,000 or 5,000. Next one, if the difficulty of the questions is not from average to above, don't ask the student too easy questions so that they will be more interested and they have to calculate the amount of money they want to bet more carefully. And the step number 4, to make sure that all students fully understand the rules of the game, the teacher will demonstrate how to play by letting one team trying out one time first and then play with all teams together. And after playing the games, the teacher will recycle and review the vocabulary. Teacher will choose some words that students have difficulty with during playing the game, maybe the spelling or the meaning of the words, and then ask the questions that students answer incorrectly to make sure that all students fully understand the knowledge and knows the exact answer. And of course, with this step, the teacher will review the questions and the words in the whole class, so the students who give the correct answer will get individual points, maybe the coins or the ENG cross. That is all about the detailed procedure. And let's move to the last part of our presentation today, that is adaptation and variation. This will be delivered by teacher Julie.
Okay, welcome to the last part, adaptation and variation. With some low resource classroom, if you don't have laminator, you don't need to laminate the banknotes. Teacher can use coins or EMG cards instead of the banknotes like this image. Okay, and let student bet the point instead of the money. Teacher gives team the same point and follow the same step above. Digital adaptation. Teacher can use online tool like Bamboozle to show the questions instead of using the PowerPoint. Okay, and let's move to some kinds of questions for each level. The first level is beginning learners for some student in give me 1 or 2. Okay? Teacher requires student to unscramble words, correct wrong words, or guess words by looking at the picture or looking at one piece of the pictures. And the second one is intermediate learners for some students in Give Me 5, 3, and 4. In addition to the beginner level questions, students at this level have to guess the word through the definition, fill the missing words in the gaps, and the last level is advanced learner. Teachers should focus more on complex vocabulary like phrasal verbs or idioms. And the questions are informed of gut feeling, finding synonyms, antonyms, or mistake corrections. So that is the end of our presentation. I hope this activity is helpful for you. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.